What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Jen's Sports Corner. I'm going to jump right into the Manny Pacquiao-Keith Thurman fight aftermath. I know it's been a little bit since the fight ended, but I wanted to give my full kind of analysis of what happened in the fight, kind of go over what my prediction was and why some of the key points that I laid out in my last video came to pass in that fight. And then I want to go into talking about some of the other news and notes going on in boxing, in particular the Canelo Alvarez purse bid situation for the IBF title against Sergey Derevyanchenko. So without further ado, let me hop right into the Pacquiao-Thurman fight. Keep this as brief as possible. Very good fight. A lot of action. Very tense from beginning to end. And it more or less played out the way I thought it would. My assessment pre-fight was that Manny Pacquiao had the faster hands, the faster feet, and even though Keith Thurman has a very good ring IQ, I thought Manny Pacquiao overall has a better ring IQ, and it showed up in the fight. And my main concern, with all that being said, yes, I believe that Keith Thurman would be a dangerous opponent. He brings that type of skill and pedigree to the table, but that 2-year layoff from his last significant fight, not his last fight, but his last significant fight against Danny Garcia, that concerned me because his tune-up fight in January wasn't against a guy that was very good in particular, and he got hurt in the fight. So it did not bode well in my mind for him. But he came out and he fought well. One thing that I did not foresee was Manny putting him down in the first round. That was crazy. Nobody saw that coming. Keith was doing some good things in that round, in spots, and then all of a sudden, Manny he caught one or two shots, claps his hand together, and then he's like, "All right, let's go," and comes through with I believe it was a right. It was a straight left, and then I think he put him down with a jab right after the straight left. And it was a flash knockdown, but Keith was like, wow, I didn't even know you had that type of pop behind those punches. He wasn't hurt, but I don't think he really expected that power to get on him so quickly. And then from there, he proceeded to regain his composure, and he had some moments here and there, but overall, I had Manny winning the fight 9-3 with the knockdown. I could have seen it 8-4 or even 9-3, but I had it 9-3 with the knockdown, and I thought that he put on a spectacular performance. And man, I don't necessarily know if I want to see him in the ring with Sean Porter or Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in a fight with Danny Garcia in this next fight, and then see him kind of go off into the sunset. I don't know what Manny Pacquiao's plans are moving forward with Freddie Roach, but I would carefully consider my moves if I was him and his team. So we'll see what happens there. But the fight played out more or less the way I thought it would. I picked Manny to win by stoppage, TKO stoppage in round 9, I believe. Could it have happened? Possibly, but it didn't happen that way. But I definitely thought that Manny would control the fight and impose his will, and he did. So good for him. But I also like Keith Thurman and the way that he battled back in some of the middle to late rounds to make it a competitive fight again. He showed the heart of a champion, and he didn't wilt under the pressure because Manny was putting it on him at spots in that fight, and he didn't wilt. So I was very impressed with that, and I'm actually excited to see what Keith Thurman does in his next fight. I want to see him. You took the first L. Okay, that is what it is. There's nothing wrong with losing your O if you go out and compete against the best at their best. In that point in time, you take on the best challenges you can. There's nothing wrong with losing that O, because having a loss in your record, but having the the quality of opponents on your resume, that's more impressive than having 0 losses on your record, but you haven't fought the best that you could have during your career. So that's just my thoughts on that. I'm excited to see what Keith does moving forward, and I'm excited for the next fight in the welterweight division between Sean Porter and Errol Spence Jr. to unify, I believe it's the WBO and the IBF titles. I believe that who has the WBC? I think that's Terrence Crawford. I believe I'm right on that. Either way, 2 of the other 4 belts are being fought for September 28th. Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter. Make sure you're there. Be there or be square. That's kind of my thoughts on the that fight, and then the Pacquiao-Thurman one. And then very quickly, let me get into some breaking news on the Canelo Alvarez side of things. Canelo Alvarez was scheduled to fight Sergey Derevyanchenko as his mandatory defense for his 160-pound IBF belt. That didn't happen. You know why? Because it went to a purse bid, and somehow, some way, Golden Boy could not come to an agreement with Team Derevyanchenko in time by the deadline that was set by the IBF. And now Canelo just got stripped of his IBF title, and there's no deal on the table at all for anybody that I know of. According to the ESPN report by Don Raphael, they tried at the last minute to try to push for an extension on the deadline from the IBF in order to put together a fight with the WBO belt holder, who is Demetrius Andrade. They would not allow that. They already gave him a couple of extensions already, and I think they just got kind of tired of possibly the waiting game or what they perceived as posturing by Team Golden Boy. So he's in a very interesting spot because he just signed that $360 million deal with DAZN, and DAZN gave him that money with the intention of seeing him get have the 3rd fight with Triple G, which did not happen. Those negotiations fell through, and instead he tried to turn around and fight the IBF mandatory, which was Sergey, and they did not get the deal done. They could not come to an agreement on the money, and now he has no belt. So what's going to happen with DAZN? Are they going to, because look, Golden Boy, they have a lot of leverage in this boxing business, but I don't foresee them being bigger than DAZN. This network gave them a deal for a reason. They made him a $360 million man for a reason over a 10-fight deal. It's about, well, it might be $350 million. Either way, I think it's an average of $35 million a fight. They paid for him to fight the top guys, especially Triple G, to have the trilogy fight. And they're not going to be too happy about this. So I'm going to be very interested to see what happens here. You know, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Triple G fight Derevyanchenko for the now vacant belt for the IBF title. You know, he lost a controversial first fight. He had a draw in a controversial first fight with Canelo. He lost the second fight, which was a controversial decision as well. I could have seen it going either way. I had it a draw, but he ended up losing that fight, and by chasing the money and the cash cow, he lost out on his titles. Now this breaking news could be an open opportunity for Triple G to regain one of those titles and have some leverage in calling the shots and what fights he wants to have moving forward, since he's also on DAZN. So this is going to be a very interesting development moving forward. I'll be dropping more videos, keeping you guys abreast of the situation. Also, stay tuned for videos. I'm a Philadelphia sports fan, so I will be dropping videos for the Eagles as they progress through training camp leading up to the first preseason game. So yeah, stay on the lookout for those videos. And that's all I have for now. So as always, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you click on the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a video, and give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And that's it for now. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.